Good morning. Here I am. It's Wednesday. It's Norma Talks. And this week we're looking at the final suit of in the tarot, which are the Pentacles. The Pentacles are a little more interesting because they deal with how you manifest it into your life. And there's often more of several of the symbologies have more than one person in them. So who are you? Where are you? Etc. But I'm going to put up the group, and trustingly, we haven't got anything cut off today, etc. So you can follow through what I'm talking about and where I'm going. So just a second while I get that up. And here it is here. There we go. I think I can maybe make this a little bit better and that can go away. Now let's see. I think we're good. Anyway, I think you can follow me well enough there. Like all aces, it's a new beginning and a new awareness and a new understanding of who, what, when, and where. Here it comes, it's arrived. What you may not notice is down here, there is a hedge of roses and lilies. Well, the lilies are on the floor. It's a hedge of roses, sorry. And consequently, what happens is that that's the aspiration. It's in the Magician. And so it's like everything is possible. There's this new pathway. I wonder if I'm trying to see if I can make this a little bigger. I usually can, but I did a different application this week. And I guess I'll just move it. Sorry about that. I like to make it a little bigger. Anyway, so the ace is the beginning. A new opportunity has come in. And immediately what we have to do is balance it. How does it fit in? What do we have to let go? How do we work with that? And sometimes that is a very unsettling time period. And so it's really about being able to balance that. So we get this new idea, we're balancing it out, and now comes when we tell people what we're going to do. Number 3, as you'll see here, the Pentacles have no color whatsoever. They're just built in sort of like an abbey. That it's the workman. I always feel the person is the workman that's on the bench working away. With him is a priest, and what I've determined is the architect, very nicely, fancifully dressed. But he's holding the plan, this is where my frustration is coming in, because it's very difficult for you to see the plan. And the plan here is showing the plan. Now, one of the things you may have noticed, if when you start something, you're excited and you're starting to build and do the work, and you share that with other people, and so many people, because the background in this here is dark, and don't always support you. They're looking at your plan. They're going to alter the plan. Well, you should do this and should do that, which is one reason why very often people will tell you in books that you read about creating is not to tell people unless they're 100% behind you, because you don't want to be infiltrated by other ideas and concepts. And you might say the naysayers, oh no, that's not going to work. What do you think you're doing? All those kind of things. So it's very, very important that when you're working on something, that you can so that you can manifest it, because an idea is not a manifestation. It's an idea, and it needs to be worked on. Buildings don't get built in a day. You can have the concept, but where do you go from there? And so one of the things with the 4, which is right next door to it here, the 4 says, here I am holding on to what I've got. Now, this changes a little bit in perspective. It's why this journey is up and down and all over the place at times. The 4 is that you're holding on to your idea. Yes, but mostly when you're reading this, it means you're holding on too tight. He's got his feet on the pentacles. He's got holding on to the pentacles in his head. Like this is, and he's got all his town behind him. Like, this is mine, and it's mine. Now, maybe if you've lived a little while, you'll realize when you hold on too tight for something, it usually falls out. So it's not a good idea to get too tight. But there are times when you got to hold on to the idea to move forward. Now, the thing is, if you hold on too tight, you come to this 5. 5 is another black background. Now, what I find is very interesting in this is that the symbolism in the window of the 5 Pentacles is just five. Five energy is very usually dispersed, but the people outside, there is obviously a person that's handicapped, and also not very wealthy. They're out in the snow, barefooted. There's damage there. They've had things happen. There's no light in here except the light of the window. These people are out of the it's what I call the key I gave to this particular symbol was out in the cold, because that's exactly what it is. Everyone else is in the warm, you're not in it. Things are not working, things are not happening. And so now when we move to the 6 of Pentacles, what we see here is these two people from the 5 in front of a man who's obviously a little portly, looks wealthy, and into one he's putting some pentacles or little coins, which are the pentacles, and the other one has got the scales of justice over their head, like are they going to get anything or not? And in the background is the Castle of Dreams. Now the castle has not really showed up until now. Now the key here is about who are you in this symbol. Now I read by where my eye goes, what feelings I get, etc. Also, the merchant's hand movement is very important. There's a number of symbols throughout that hand symbol we saw in the 10 of Swords, and I think I brought the attention to that. And so it just holds also saying you cannot give all your wealth away. A farmer who is, let's say, we'll use potatoes. That's a good idea. If you're a potato farmer, you don't throw away your seed potatoes. Yeah, I just had this funny thought that this is not encouraged too much these days. But you keep the seed back to make more. The same thing with your money. If you're giving all your money, if you're giving all your energy, if you give everything away, there's nothing left for it to grow again. So the merchant has a part to play in this. He's dispersing, but he's also not dispersing everything. And do we know that it's going to work, or we do not? So there again, because there's 3 people, who are we? Which are we? We don't know. And always I find, where does my eye go when the symbol comes up? Now there is a jump from 6 to 7, not like a usual link and you'll say and then or but. And it's like, now whoever's got that has been working away. And if you look at the 7, there is this hedge with these pentacles in it, 6 of them. The 6 now have coalesced. But the 7th is between the person's legs, and he's resting on his hoe, again, a farming sort of symbolism. And he's thinking, I'm never going to get this job finished. And yet the reality is, all he has is one more to go. One more. And think about this. How often do we give up when all we have to do is one more thing, or go a little longer, or whatever it is? And we kind of, oh, this is never going to end. It's not going to come together. All those little crazy thoughts that go on in their head. And so here is, again, a person needing to continue on, which is when we look at the 8, there he is working in front of his castle. So he's obtained, and he's done a whole lot of wares that he's got out, for example, up on the wall, and he's working on one, and he's got one already, again, also down on the ground that hasn't been put up. This is the workman. This is you carrying on, doing what you got to do. So when we move to the 9, here, I always find that this 9 symbols are very, very interesting. On one side, we have 3. And if we go back to the 3, we find this is where it's not been manifested yet. And then we have the 6, which again, where does all this wealth coming from here? One of the things I find with the 9 of Pentacles is she's got the love symbol of the flowers on her cloak. There's a couple of other little things with bird, the what do you call it? The eagle, or no, is it? I guess it's the eagle in England. but the two palm trees, look at how the two palm trees with a hint of the castle in the background, if you can see that well. Now, the key here is everything is there, but there's limitation. The limitation also shows up in the Queen, which we're not quite there yet, but there's some limitation in this. It's like, I've got everything, but am I as happy as I really would need to be? And then we have the 10, where it's just everything is there. What I often see that is that opportunities are there, is almost like coming back to the ace. It's like the opportunities are there. Again, 3 people in this plus 2 dogs, or 4 people if you count the child. 3 people, 2 adults, which can look sometimes like they're fighting. That's always interesting. There, you can really see it's a communication element. There's the wand of authority, which the man has his hand on, that shows up in the chariot symbol, number 7 in the Higher Arcana. And then there's this older man who's sort of outside the castle, but he's got mystic symbols, like he has wisdom. And he's got his hand on one dog's nose, while the child has his hand on the butt, just before the tail of the other dog. Now, this is all interconnecting. But when I see that symbol very often, what I know is there's lots of opportunities. And there's everything is there. Everything is there that you need. But communication, I find with this symbol, really, really important to those people that are around you. So the journey of the Pentacles is not an easy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is not. It is all over at times. It flows, then it doesn't flow, then it stops. And it's really about, how do we handle this material world of ours? How do we handle the money? How do we handle other people? We do not live in a bubble. Other people very much are affected in our lives. Things people say, things people do, how this works, how that works. And that is manifested into your world. And that's how the Pentacles relate. Things that is the world. It's not a thought. It's not a feeling. It's not a response. It's how it's manifested. When I look at my desk, I've got all sorts of things manifested around here. They are all manifested. They all have a physicality about them. Now, let's take a look at the court cards. And these are, I'm going to stop the share from there, and I'm going to hold these up here, and because I think this will be better. Now, this is the page. All pages are immature. He's very, very caught up with his pentacle here. But look at his beautiful surroundings that he's got. Maybe it might be better on this side. No, I'm better on this side. It's pretty. It's nice. It's green. It's blue and everything. But most of this is absorption and making money, wanting your life to be a certain way, and that's all you're going to see. Now, the Knight, on the other hand, is one of the 3 procrastination attitude cards. He's pretty big. He's the horse is not moving. All the knights are on horses, and there's always the ticks about movement. This one is definitely not moving. He's looking out over plowed fields. These fields here, hang on a minute, I got my finger in front. These are plowed fields, and he's up on a ridge. Well, sometimes you have to wait for the right time. Timing can be very, very important when you're manifesting into the material world. If you move too fast, it won't work. If you wait too long, it won't work, etc. So it's like timing, waiting for spring to put the crops in, waiting for fall to bring the crops in. So there is a time when waiting is important. But if you're getting too many procrastination symbols, then it's not a good thing, because that means you're waiting, and nothing is happening. So to a large degree, I always feel this has a thing about procrastination, yes, but also waiting for the correct time, waiting for the signal. Now, the Queen has a little, I rather like this Queen, but she's very similar, as I'm going to put up here, if I can grab it, the 9. There's a similarity in these two. Limitation, that's what it is. If you look closely here, it's a beautiful garden. She's sitting in her throne. She's got her pentacles, of which she's looking at. But if you look at the rose briar, that's the desire, red roses of desire. She's sort of hemmed in. And because she's hemmed in, it's pleasant. Oh, there's a bunny rabbit too, so in there. So there's an abundancy about this. But it's also, but she doesn't seem to have foresight. She's very much caught up in her world. I really enjoy that symbol though when it comes up. And then finally, the king. The king has it all. He's in his castle. He's gone through the fight of life, very much like the emperor, number 4 in the higher arcana. He holds the world in his hand here. He's got his pentacle here, which he's looking at. He's crowned by roses and lilies, if I remember. Yes, on top of a laurel wreath on his crown. So he has it all. He also has his subconscious under control. And that is really important. So Pentacles, how we manifest into their lives, is a really sense of knowing it doesn't always manifest the way we want it. It doesn't always flow. That's one of the things when I was first learning as to, okay, what are these really saying to me about life? Is that they didn't flow. And like I'd have 2 or 3 symbols, then it doesn't flow. And so consequently, it's like, and you got 2 with total black backgrounds. Only the 10 of Swords has a partial black background. So in the lower arcana, which tells us how we're handling life, how we're dealing with life, the Pentacles are the most probably diverse. That could be taken 1 or 2 ways. You could be this person or that person. You could be moving forward or not. We do know that when we hit the 5 of Pentacles, say, I'm just going to bring that up here too, is that you need to change your attitude, basically. You need to have a different perspective. And it's amazing if you think that from 5, where you're feeling out in the cold, all of a sudden, everything comes together, that you're given what you want. Maybe that here. Now, I talk a lot, and a lot of that came up in the wand symbology. We are as we think. We create as we think. And I speak a lot about that, about how the universe does not know what you want. How it knows is how you think. So when you're thinking this and you're thinking that and you're thinking enough, it's like going like, what do they really want? Scrambled eggs? And so things don't manifest. So you've got to get really clear on your goals. You got to really know what's happening. You need to be able to put the emotion. I was just talking to somebody the other day actually and saying, you need clarity of what you want, because that creates your framework. But then the emotion you put behind that, because you really want that, is what helps manifest it. Then you have, the swords are obstacles that come up, yes. But then it needs to manifest into the material world. And that's when we get to see and experience and know we created what we wanted to create. Now, very often, as soon as we've created what we want, we have a short time to enjoy, and then we go, because we need to move on, there we need to go and create more, and there's more opportunities. That's what I like about the 10 of Pentacles, is and I've just moved all these back in here, see if I can find it quickly, because one thing I love about the 10 of Pentacles, because I think you can probably see it clearer here, is all of these circles represent opportunities. They're all there. Oh, there's some other mystical elements in here too as well, but it's like it's all there, ready to go again. Life never stops. There's always one thing following. We know one day follows the next day, but also opportunities come in one way or the other, and you either take them or you don't, which is what the ace says. The ace says, new beginnings. What are you going to do? You're going to ignore it or not? Because when we add something new into the life, often that's when we get imbalanced, because we have to give something up. Then we have to decide the direction and move with it so that we can reap the benefits of what we know, want, and desire. Nothing ever stops or blocks. And always remember that no matter what is occurring, that the universal love force is wanting your highest and your best every time. Thing is, you need to want that too. So that's my talk for today. We'll be back on Sunday. And in the meantime, I want to thank you all for the shares, for the notices that you send me saying how much you've enjoyed this, that, or the other. I appreciate that. And I just really want you to have a great week. And I'll see you Sunday. Bye for now.